This video has been a long one in the making, and we finally got some stats for TTKs when it comes to Warzone 2.0. This video is going to go over what is the fastest long-range TTK rifles inside this game. So what we have on screen is the TTK spreadsheet at 250 HP. Keep in mind some players may be at 200 HP and therefore these values might be slightly lower, and that is because some players might not have the satchel that allows you to have 3 armor plates, so that's just the way the game is designed. And then the shot locations here are based off of my Call of Duty Cold War stats and where my shots are usually landed. I'm a 1.34 KD kind of player, so that's about average I think for the most part, or just above average. So if we are doing that, then we're looking at 2 weapons here. We've got the RAAL LMG and we've also got the M13B. Now, the RAAL is an absolute beast in this game. The TTKs are ridiculously fast and it only drops off twice, which means that you get that 567 millisecond time to kill out to infinity range, which is pretty insane if you ask me. This gun probably will get nerfed, to be perfectly honest. And then we've got the M13B, which even though it doesn't have the fastest time to kill in this range right here, as you can see, the guns do drop off again for the 3rd damage range, but I do think it's a super consistent weapon, and that is why I still think is an absolutely solid choice, because again, it doesn't drop off, so you will feel like the TTKs are always going to be the same every time. It doesn't matter how far you try and hit those shots, so that is something that's quite important with this weapon, even though it doesn't mainly have the fastest time to kill. And then what we need to do is obviously look at the 3rd damage range here, because obviously some weapons do drop off for a 3rd and 4th. So as you can see here, if we look at that 3rd damage range, you've got the RPK, which of course is a very popular gun right now. So as you can see here, that drops off to 654 and then it drops off to 694 at a longer distance, which is still a really fast time to kill, below 700 milliseconds to be exact. And that is insanely quick as well. Doesn't matter kind of which range you're using this at. Then we've got the KASTOV-762, which is pretty much a sleeper weapon at the moment. No one's really using it. People are still using the TAQ-56 and some of the other guns, but to be perfectly honest, the KASTOV-762 is definitely a solid choice. And then again, we've got the Rapp H as well, which again is another sleeper weapon in my opinion. People are not even using this. Now, if we take a look at very popular guns, for example, like the TAQ-56, which is probably the most used rifle in the game alongside the RPK, of course, this has got an 893 millisecond time to kill, so it's almost 200 milliseconds faster than the KASTOV and the Rapp H. So even though it is of a low recoil gun, it doesn't kill quite as fast. So I know what you're thinking now. These guns, even though they have fast TTKs, might not have good recoil control, but if you build them correctly, you'll get the recoil patterns that you see on screen just now. These are the meta builds, which I'll show you in just a moment, for the KASTOV-762, the RPK, the M13B, the RAAL, and the Rapp H. Now, the RPK, the M13, and the RAAL, most people are using right now. The M13 kind of went by the wayside after the first couple of days of its launch, but that's because the damage per mag is not so great. So if they did increase the mag capacity, I do think it'd be a really solid choice. But for solos and like duos, for example, I think it's a very, very easy gun to use, and not only that, you get super consistent TTKs. The RPK, the RAAL are pretty much a staple in the meta at the moment, so I don't really need to talk too much about those, and as you can see, the recoil is very easy to use. The KASTOV-762, even though it does have a lot of vertical recoil, is actually very easy to manage, which I'll show you in just a moment, but it does go upwards and to the right, which is very easy to control, and then the Rapp H is very similar once again. Before we move on, a really important thing I do actually want to show you here is that when it comes to barrels versus the high velocity, I do want to show you a comparison here. So the barrels do give you bullet velocity. So for example, the precision barrel on the TAQ-V gives you a plus 83 meters per second muzzle velocity. But if you actually compare that to what you get with high velocity, it's a night and day difference. You're going to get plus 290 meters per second muzzle velocity, which is way better than what you get with the barrel. And especially if none of the barrels are giving you recoil control benefits, which this one isn't, then you're probably better off with the high velocity ammunition instead. And this actually goes for a lot of the weapons in this game, or pretty much every weapon. So I've gave you the numbers and the stats. I want to quickly get through the builds here. I don't want to waste too much time. So the attachments you can see here for the 762 KASTOV, 40 round mags, which if you are playing a larger game mode, then obviously you will need these. It doesn't go any higher, unfortunately. FTAC Ripper underbarrel, always. This is the attachment tuning for that. So there you go. Polar fire suppressor, because it is the best suppressor for this weapon, let's be perfectly honest. And again, you'll see the attachment tuning on screen just now here as well. We've got the barrel, which is the CAS 10 barrel, which is going to help with recoil control and bullet velocity. And again, the attachment tuning is what you see on screen just now. And then we do have the aim OP optic, which is pretty much the most popular optic to use right now. And again, we are using it in the close eye position with this attachment tuning. Now, I do want to show you this gun in the firing range at the moment, and as you can see, at long range you can easily land those shots. You only need to pull down on your analog stick slightly to the left, and to be honest, this gun feels very similar to the way the AMAX did inside Modern Warfare 2019. It's actually a very easy gun to control when you get the attachment tuning down correctly. Next up, we have the RPK, which everyone knows is a beast in this game. So again, the same optic, we are using the aim OP, and the attachment tuning is exactly the same as before. Then we are using the OLE laser for the faster aim down sight speed and aiming stability. And if you check the sim.gg website, this is the best laser in the game. I pretty much said it before anyway, so you don't really need to check it too much. We are using high velocity, and we are tuning this attachment slightly. Now, I used to not recommend doing it, but now that we have the stats on sim.gg, then we will be tuning this. So as you can see on screen just now, FTAC Ripper once again, and then the attachment tuning is here for the RPK, slightly different to before. And then the polar fire suppressor once again, and again we've got the attachment tuning for that one. So just showing you the RPK in the firing range as well. As you can see here, you can land your shots super easily at distance with this gun too. I mean, it's another really easy weapon to control, and even though they tried to make recoil a bit harder to control in this game, they haven't really done that good of a job. Next up, we have the RAAL. A lot of people know this gun is a solid choice anyway at the moment. When it comes to attachment tuning, again, it's going to be the aim OP optic with the attachment tuning you see on screen just now. Then we've got the OLE laser once again for the aim down sight speed, aiming stability. It's definitely one of the best choices of attachments at the moment. High velocity once again because it's pretty broken at the moment, and then attachment tuning is what you see on screen. And then we do have the SA side grip, which is the best for the RAAL because it gives you recoil steadiness and recoil stabilization and idle stability, so it pretty much controls every aspect of recoil that is important in this game. When it comes to tuning, again, we are slightly adjusting this one as well. And then we do have the Talon 16 suppressor, which helps with recoil control, so just keep that in mind. And then also we are tuning this slightly as well. Taking the RAAL now into the firing range, this gun is absolutely broken. This will get nerfed, to be perfectly honest with you. The TTKs are just far too good for how low the recoil is of this gun. Now, it does aim down sight quite slowly, so you do need to account for that. But once you got your angles down, you play for positioning, it doesn't really matter. Next up, we've got a gun that is chosen for its consistent time to kill, not just the fact that it's got the fastest time to kill. Now, fastest time to kill doesn't always mean everything, of course, but this gun is super low recoil, and the TTKs are consistent over pretty much any range once you get in that second damage drop-off point, so it's going to make it a solid choice. And we've got the aim OP optic with the attachment tuning you see on screen just now once again. We do have the echelon barrel, which is the best for this gun. It gives you the extra recoil control that you do need, and we've maxed the recoil steadiness out on this one here. We are using the Harbinger suppressor. That is the best for this gun, and again, the attachment tuning you'll see on screen just now. And then the FTAC Ripper once again is the best underbarrel in the game for the most part, and again, you'll see the attachment tuning. And then we are using the 60 round mags, which is an absolute must on this weapon because, like I said, the damage per mag is not fantastic. If you are playing solos and duos, this is an absolute beast of a gun. So this gun is a very easy gun to control at long range. It's pretty much straight upwards with the recoil pattern, and if you've learned that, you could pretty much hit your shots at a distance without any single problem whatsoever. Just keep in mind the damage per mag's not fantastic, but other than that, it's an absolutely amazing gun. Last but not least, we have probably the biggest sleeper weapon in this entire game in my opinion, and that is the Rapp H LMG. Very similar to the M13B in terms of how it handles and what it kind of offers you in game. Now, you're going to get a bigger mag capacity than the M13. It has a fast fire rate similar to the M13, so it's very forgiving, and it's super low recoil as well, but it also has a faster time to kill at longer ranges. So it's going to come down to, if you want a little bit slower movement but overall better weapon, the Rapp H is better. If you're playing maybe solos and you want a bit more speed, then take the M13B. But in terms of attachments here, aim OP optic once again, attachment tuning again on screen, you'll see that at the moment. The OLE laser is the best laser in the game, so you do need it on LMGs to get the best possible aim down sight speed. Then we are using the high velocity ammunition because it's pretty much broken at the moment, and hopefully they don't change it because I do like using it, to be perfectly honest. And again, the tuning is what you're seeing right now on the screen there. We've got the B54 or the B054 grip, which is specific to this weapon. It gives you idle stability, it gives you recoil steadiness and stabilization, all the best recoil benefits with this underbarrel grip. And then attachment tuning is as you see on screen just now. And then the polar fire suppressor, once again, because it is the best suppressor for LMGs in the most part. And there we have the attachment tuning once again. So when it comes to controlling this weapon, you only need to pull down and to the left a little bit, and it's super easy to manage at range once you get a hang of it. And as you can see, the fire rate is much quicker than some of the other LMGs in the game, which is what makes this a really good choice if you tend to miss quite a lot of shots, because that way you actually won't be bothered too much because the next shots are coming out much quicker. But once you learn the recoil of this gun, it's super easy to manage as well. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.